In the Norse mythology, above all deities is Odin, the Allfather. It is common for Norse gods to be associated with more than one attribute. Odin, in particular, is well known for being the god of war and wisdom. But besides these two, he is associated with death, knowledge, poetry, and sorcery, which makes him the god with the most attributes. So let's talk about Odin's origin. Odin's father is Bur, one of the first gods in Norse mythology. Bur had three children, Odin, Vili, and Vi. In order to shape the world, they fought with the giant Ymir, the first being in the universe, a primordial giant with immense power. Nevertheless, the three brothers emerged victorious from the battle, and using the corpse of Ymir, they created the world. An important note, the world, not the universe, as that's a whole different story. The slaying of Ymir leads to the start of a pretty ruthless hatred between the gods and the giants, which eventually reaches its climax in the Battle of Ragnarok. Asgard is a primordial place where the gods live together. There, in the great hall Gladsheim, resides the throne Hildskauf, from where Odin can see the entire earth and every human being. Now, many of you may think that Valhalla is the equivalent of heaven and that all good people are there. However, there's a big difference between the pagan religion and Christianity. Valhalla is a magnificent golden hall, lined with shields and spears. In Valhalla reside the best warriors who are worthy and especially chosen by the Valkyries. Every day, the chosen ones, which are actually called Einherjar, fight, die, and drink together, getting ready for the most important battle, Ragnarok. So, it's pretty much like heaven on steroids. Odin's constant desire for wisdom made him one of the wisest gods to ever exist. His need for knowledge and willingness to self-sacrifice for the good of others are really inspiring. In the story where he obtains the rune's secrets and their magic, he was so obsessed that he sacrificed himself to... actually himself, in order to gain their hidden secrets. He pierced himself with his spear and hung from the giant tree Yggdrasil for 9 days, and on the verge of death with no food or water. Finally, the runes revealed themselves. I don't know how he thought of this idea, and was there a moment he would think, yeah, this was a bad decision, but I guess that's just a mere human thought. In another instance, he gave his eye to Mimir, so he could drink 1 cup from the Lake of Wisdom. I mean just 1 cup, no full-time access or anything like that, and he did it without any hesitation. Just poof, and the eye of one of the most important gods was gone. And that's not even the craziest story. For me, the myth that makes Odin so different is Odin and the myth of poetry. In this myth, Odin tricks a group of 9 servants who end up dead because of him. Then he tricks another giant to do his dirty work, shapeshifts, break his oath, trick yet another one, sleep with the giant's daughter, and makes her fall in love with him, steal the meat and shapeshifts again into an eagle so he could fly to Asgard with the stolen meat. The story sounds a lot more like something Loki would do, not the Almighty Father, right? Nevertheless, the Allfather is willing to use everything to obtain knowledge, and he does this successfully. Now that we have established the basics, I think it's time to finally answer the question, why is Odin called the Allfather? In my opinion, there are 3 valid reasons. First, he is the head of the Aesir tribe, and rules over the kingdom with his wife Frigg. Second, many well-known gods are his descendants. Thor, Heimdall, Balder, Miley, Bragi, Hodor, Hermodr, Vidar and Vali are all his sons. Third, from a patriarchal perspective, Odin embodies the eldest and wisest figure, being the father of many sons and the head of the Norse deities. He represents order in the Norse pantheon, standing against chaos and other forces of evil. Now let's talk about Odin's abilities and powers. Though some deities may surpass him in physical strength, like Thor, his arsenal of powers is truly impressive. Odin's iconic weapon is Gungnir, his spear. Known for its uncanny accuracy, Gungnir never misses its target and can cut through anything. It's quite formidable to say the least. Successfully obtaining the rune's secrets, Odin now is a sorcerer, having the spells to overpower enemies, heal wounds, protect warriors, raise the dead, seduce a lover, and many other things. Odin is often depicted with his two crows, Hugin and Munin, representing thought and memory. However, people tend to overlook his two wolves, Gary and Freki, his main guards, who are his loyal companions throughout his adventures. Then there is Sleipnir, Odin's extraordinary horse and possibly the best horse of all time, if such a thing exists. Sleipnir is an 8-legged stallion, and an interesting fact is that he's the son of Loki. So you might think, okay, so Loki slept with a horse? That's something. However, Loki is actually his mother. I know it sounds a bit strange, but I'll explain this in the next video. Despite all of his powers, fate cannot be evaded, and Odin's fate was to be defeated by the giant wolf Fenrir in the Battle of Ragnarok. Odin knew that eventually Fenrir will be the cause of his demise. To outsmart Fenrir, Odin devised a plan, and he and the other gods created chains so strong that Fenrir would never be able to break them. After successfully tricking the giant wolf and laughing at him, Fenrir was furious with the gods, and especially with Odin. Waiting for Ragnarok, he would finally have his revenge. When Ragnarok arrives, Odin's fate will be sealed by blood. As you can see, Odin is not your ordinary god. Possessing somewhat of a darker side, which adds to his distinctiveness, his story is a lot more expansive than some might think. And this was just a small fraction of all the cool tales and myths, including the Allfather. Hopefully, with everything said in this video, you will be a bit more informed and want to learn more about the gods and the Norse mythology in the future. Thank you for watching. This was my first video and I still have a lot to learn, so hopefully from here on out it's just going to be better and better. This channel is going to focus a lot on interesting stories about mythology. So if you like this kind of content, I would really appreciate if you subscribe and like the video. It really means a lot. Thank you once more and see you in the next video.